Hello, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. Hi there. Welcome to Verbling. I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour here on Verbling, we are going to look at verbs. In particular, we're going to talk about the difference between stative and dynamic verbs. And we're going to look at examples, and you guys are going to practice and talk about different verbs and try to help me figure out if they are stative or dynamic. Okay, well, welcome to the class, Abimelech.
Thank
Hi.
you. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again too.
All right, welcome to the class. And hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the class. Where are you from, Andrew?
I'm from Russia.
Okay, very good. Nice to have you aboard. All right, gentlemen, we're going to talk about stative versus dynamic verbs and why it's important to know the difference. Okay, let me do a little screen share here and talk to you a little bit about this. Okay. Some English verbs which we call state or sometimes they're called non-continuous verbs, or they can also be called stative verbs. Okay, a stative means a state, so the way something is. Okay, the sky is blue. That's just the way it is. That's the state it is in. So obviously the sky is blue. That I'm talking about the way something is. I can't say the sky is being blue. That would sound very, very strange in English. So in this case, I cannot use it in a continuous tense. Continuous tense are when we use verbs with the ing ending. I am teaching class. For example, that would be present continuous, am teaching. So obviously I can use that in a continuous tense. Okay. Dynamic verbs, on the other hand, show action. And normally we think of verbs and we think about action. The boy is running across the field. All right, well, there's a perceptible action that we can see happening. Those are called dynamic verbs. Now, it would be all well and good and wonderful if we could just easily divide verbs up into these two forms, stative and dynamic. But unfortunately, it's English, so nothing's that easy. Hello, Max. Welcome to the class. Howdy, howdy.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Oh, I got a howdy, howdy, and a hello, hello. Okay. Hi, Max. Nice to see you, as always.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice to see you too.
Right. See. Okay. Well, there's one of the verbs. See. It's nice seeing you again. It's nice to see you again. Okay. I can use an infinitive form. I can use continuous.
Correct.
Either one is correct, actually. But
Okay.
the problem is, well, the problem is that some verbs are always non-continuous or stative, and some verbs are what we might call mixed verbs. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Here I have a nice list of stative verbs, but we're going to come back to this in a second. Actually, first, I want to show you some verbs can be both stative and dynamic. This is the confusing thing about the stative versus dynamic. Now, if a verb is only stative, that would mean that you can never use ing with it. But most of this long list of verbs here are mixed verbs. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but let's look at how that works. And then we're going to look at all these words together and talk about them. And you guys are going to decide if it can be both stative and dynamic or just stative. But let's look at some of the more basic verbs in English. The verb to be is usually a stative verb. But when it is used in continuous, it means behaving or acting. It has a slightly different meaning. So, for example, you are stupid. It's a state of being. Okay, it's part of your personality. You are stupid. That means all the time you are stupid. Okay. However, it's perfectly correct in English to say you are being stupid, the verb to be, and the ing form, present continuous tense. You are being stupid. This would be very common in English, but it means only now. Right now, you're being stupid. Okay. So, an action which is happening now, you're acting, we could say you are acting stupid, or you behaving stupidly would have the same meaning as this second phrase, you are being stupid. And obviously we can use it in a continuous tense. When we are using the word to mean this, behaving or acting. Hello, Carlos. Welcome to the class. Hi there. Carlos, can't hear you. I don't know if you have a microphone problem or what, but just so you know, I can't hear you. A little bit later, I'm going to be talking to all you guys. If you can fix that so that you can talk with me, that would be great. Okay, another verb which can be mixed, stative and dynamic, is think. When we, depends how we mean it. If you mean it as in you have an opinion, I think that coffee is great. Well, I totally agree with this statement. I do too. I think that coffee is wonderful. All right, that is my opinion. So an opinion is a state. That is the way you think. That is considered to be a state. Think, however, can also be dynamic, like an action. If you can, to mean you have in your head, you're considering right now. For example, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about my next holiday. All right, it's an action you're doing right now. It's not an opinion. You don't have an opinion about your next holiday. It's just that's what you happen to be considering at the moment. So different meaning for think can be stative or dynamic. All right, have, another very, very simple verb, which is extremely common. Can definitely be either stative or dynamic. If you're meaning it to own something, I have a car, you cannot say I'm having a car. It just doesn't work because you're talking about a state. You own something. That's okay. That's the sky is blue. That's a state. You own the car. As part of an expression, okay, now this is interesting. When we use it as part of a set phrase, for example, I'm having a party, I'm having a bath, I'm having a good time, I'm having a break. These set phrases, these expressions, means I'm doing something, but instead of do, we use have typically in English for these types of expressions. So I'm having a party next Saturday. Okay, it's perfectly normal. we're basically using have to mean doing something. So again, totally different meanings. Have can be stative or dynamic, depending on how you're using it. Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed. Welcome.
Yes, hey, Octavian.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
It's nice to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Here's another one. Now, okay, see, taste, smell, these are often, we usually think of them as being stative verbs because, all right, well, because you see with your eyes, all right, or in the meaning of understand, for example, I see what you mean. I can't say I'm seeing what you mean. Or just the action of using your senses. I see her now. She's just coming along the road. In this case, see is going to be stative. However, see can be dynamic. We also use it in English to say that we're meeting someone. For example, earlier when I said it's good seeing you again, it's good meeting you again. All right. It's good to see you. I could actually say it either way. All right. It's good seeing you again. Would mean I'm actually meaning it's good meeting you again. Or if I say, oh, it's good to see you, I mean like with my eyes. So I could use it either way and be perfectly correct. We use seeing also to mean having a relationship. I've been seeing my boyfriend for 3 years. Okay, fine. It basically means dating. We can use see this way. So you're going to notice a lot of sense. Your senses, sight, smell, hear, are going to be stative sometimes. Last example here, and then we're going to look at some words together. Taste. The word taste, meaning it has a certain taste, is stative. This is the way it is. This is the state of the soup. The soup is in a state of tasting very good. Okay, this soup tastes great. All right, the coffee tastes really bitter. All right, that's the way it is, like the sky is blue. If you're talking about the action, the chef moving the spoon from the bowl up to his mouth and putting it in his mouth, that is obviously an action. His arm and spoon are moving, so the chef is tasting the soup. Obviously a dynamic action which involves actual physical movement. Again, you're going to see a lot of verbs that have to do with your senses, which can be stative or dynamic. All right, now, if you see how that works, knowing how that works, let's talk about some of these verbs on my list here. And I'm going to ask you guys to try to figure out, is this a stative verb? Now, obviously, this is a stative verb list, but the question is it stative? Can it be used as a dynamic verb? That's my question to you. I'm going to see if you can form a sentence using it with the ing, continuous. So what I'd like to do with you guys is try to determine, is it a true stative verb or is it a mixed verb? It can be both. Abimelech, I'm going to start with you. How about like?
Like is a stative verb, and I think we cannot use it as a dynamic verb.
Yeah. Try and see what it sounds like. Make a wrong sentence. I agree with you.
Okay. He has been liking me for 2 years.
Yeah. Just sounds goofy, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I will be liking it in the afternoon. No. Okay. Now, which is not to say, Abimelech and everyone else, that you won't occasionally hear native speakers make a mistake, because you will. Sort of an expression, slang expression, that's kind of popular right now is I'm liking it. Oh yeah, I'm liking it. Okay. You may hear native speakers say this, on a TV show or in a movie or some such place. But it's wrong. Grammatically speaking, it's totally wrong. So Abimelech is totally correct. Technically speaking, this is a pure stative verb. It is not a mixed verb. Let's try one a little harder. Andrew, what do you think about know? Can we use knowing as a verb? Andrew? Oh dear. Andrew, I don't know if something's going on with the Hangout. Oh, there we go. Yeah. There we go.
Microphone. As far as I know, the verb know cannot be used in continuous tense. So it is stative.
As far as I know, he says. And he uses it in a stative way without knowing it. Wait! Without knowing it. How about that sentence, which I also accidentally used, Andrew? Without knowing it, he used the verb.
Without knowing, I think it is not continuous. It is gerund used after this preposition.
Very good. Excellent, Andrew. Gold star for you for the day. Exactly. I'm not really using it as a verb. That's right. I'm using it as a gerund form together with it, knowing it. Very good. See, what gets tricky is just because a verb is stative does not mean it does not have a gerund ing form. Or we're going to see cases where when we add ing, it actually forms an adjective. All by itself. Actually, knowing. It can be an adjective. He had a knowing smile. Okay, a smile, kind of a smirk where a person knows something which they're not, a secret which they're not telling. A knowing smile is a common collocation, for example. Okay. He was knowing, he will be knowing, he is knowing. Just think about using it. Can it be used, when I'm asking you this question, think about, can you make a sentence with present continuous? He is knowing.
I am knowing it is wrong to use it.
Good job. You're right. Like this is a true stative verb. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Great. Max, how about belong?
I think belong is a stative verb.
Okay. Well, they're all
It's
stative.
very strange to say belonging. Belonging.
Yeah. Well, this is an odd word, actually. Yeah, I am belonging to the club. Doesn't make sense. You would, of course, say I belong to the club. But what happens when I add ing? What other word form? Do you know another way?
Noun.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so something weird happens here. You're right. How would I use it as a noun? Can you give me an example?
I don't know.
Okay.
As a noun.
Well, actually there's a couple meanings.
I'm
Can any
belonging to this lesson.
what, Andrew? Go ahead.
I'm belonging to this lesson.
I don't think that works. I think you're trying to use it as a verb. Belonging or belongings with an S. Actually, there's two different meanings. I have a sense of belonging.
I wanted to say that I am a part of this lesson.
Right, I have a sense of belonging in this class. Often we use with the whole collocation a sense of belonging. The whole phrase is common. Right, which is what Andrew was trying to convey. Whoops. Well, a sense of belonging is often the phrase we use. Right, you feel like you're a part of something. You have a sense of belonging in the class. Very good. And Andrew's right. But we also use belongings. I put all my belongings into my suitcase for my trip. The stuff you own are your belongings. Well, the stuff you own is your belongings. Stuff. Okay. Yeah, so that one can be tricky to think about. But as far as being a verb, it really can't be used as a mixed verb. Okay. Ahmed, how about, let's move on. How about love? What do you think about love?
Love, it's stative verb and cannot be added with ing. Only if it's noun or an adjective. It works only as a noun or adjective. If we are going to use it with ing. But I think there's like a slogan that McDonald's used, like I'm loving it, you know. But this is not grammatically right, I think.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct, Ahmed. Yeah. You're so correct. I'm so angry with McDonald's for confusing my students. That's it. Yes. You are 100% correct, Ahmed. His loving mother was very kind to him. Okay, I can use it as an adjective. Their house was full of loving. Okay, sure. You're absolutely correct. And curse McDonald's. Anyway.
Curse McDonald's. Yes, I think they should sue the case against McDonald's.
Yeah, but who would sue them?
For messing up with the grammar. I think they will get a fortune, you know.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. On behalf of who? Verbling students? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea.
Yes, have you heard about Red Bull? You know.
Red Bull?
No. Yeah, they built a suitcase against Red Bull, and they won about 30 million.
Who did?
Yeah, because they said in the commercial that Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, but actually it does not. You know. So there's like an attorney firm or something just raising a suitcase, a loot case against them, and they won. They won a lot of unbelievable money against this company.
Really?
Yeah. So it can work with McDonald's, by the way. Really?
No way.
Yeah, seriously, trust me. I just read this recently. I've read it.
No joke. That's amazing. Okay. It must have, obviously, this lawsuit, by the way, is what you're talking about. A lawsuit obviously had to be put. Obviously, this was in America. Only in America could you sue someone for something.
Maybe.
Like that.
Maybe I just read the storyline of the news. All right.
You know what they should have done? They should have just said, okay. They should just put like on the Red Bull can. Please just send us your address, and then they could mail them little paper red wings. you know.
Yes.
Yeah. No, really,
yeah,
we
yeah,
do.
yeah. If they are really smart, you know. But I think it's just.
Seriously, we do give you wings. We just need your address. That's it.
But think of it like it's like a kind of advertising, or it will raise the profits, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Probably
it's
the publicity from the lawsuit.
yeah, they spend like so much money on the commercial. So if
Yeah.
this could make like a very good image
Mhm.
about the commercial. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Thank you, Ahmed. Abimelech,
Yes.
what do you think of the next word here?
Realize.
Realize. And also, are you a lawyer? Would you like to help me bring a lawsuit against McDonald's?
I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind that. Me neither. Okay. Now, all right. Realize.
We never say. We never use. I think realizing.
Actually, we
Stative
can.
verb.
This is a tough one. All right. This is a hard one. Try it. Try making a sentence with using realize in a continuous form.
Mm, nowadays he's realizing that he's sick.
Okay. All right. Now, can you say that? Is that okay? He is realizing that he's sick.
But it doesn't sound good.
Well, how would you say it differently?
Um,
Just realizes? Because, okay, my point, I don't want to confuse you. My point is maybe you might hear in English he is starting to realize. Instead, you would use starting as a continuous form, and then to realize in infinitive to make it clear that it's continuous. However, you can use this verb in a continuous form. It's actually okay, Abimelech.
okay.
He was realizing that his wife was becoming angrier and angrier when she threw the pot at his head. Okay, because realize can mean thinking of it, beginning to understand, and we can actually use this to show continuous tense. Actually, it's okay with realize. Realize is a mixed verb.
So we can say this can be used as static or dynamic.
We can say it's a mixed verb. It can be used either way. All right. This is kind of strange, but with realize it can be continuous because it can be that he slowly began to understand. On the other hand, if we jump down a little and we look at understand, Abimelech, how about understand? Can we use this in a continuous form?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right. So these two words are very, very similar in meaning, but understand is always stative. All right. So this is where it can be a little bit confusing. Very similar meanings. However, we always use understand as, okay, he understood what she was saying, as, okay, it's a verb that actually brings the emphasis on the outcome, not necessarily the action. But realize, we can use it to add emphasis to the action of slowly understanding. So it's possible. So
Okay.
subtle, but nevertheless, there it is. Hello, Dario.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, maybe the accent in the last part is not correct, but
All
it's
right.
normally people to speak English.
Okay. Well, can you help me out? How should I pronounce your name?
My name?
Yeah, please.
Dario.
Dario. Dario.
Mm,
Dario.
Dario. In the
Dario.
first part, the accent. Excellent.
Stress on the first part. Dario. Okay. Where are you from, Dario?
I,
Dario?
I try to.
What?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Where are you from, Dario?
I am from Argentina.
Ah, very good. Okay. Okay, excellent. And welcome to the class. I hope you survive. It looks like you're having an earthquake. Your room is spinning around. I'm joking. That's a joke. Also, I'd like to welcome another Ahmed. I think it's another Ahmed.
Yes, hello, teacher.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, fine. Thank you.
Okay. We're looking at stative, and welcome to the class. We're looking at stative and dynamic verbs. I'll come back to you and talk to you in just a moment. I'm going to go back to Andrew here, and we're kind of wrestling with how to think about these verbs and decide if they're stative or dynamic, and trying to look at the issues that we may have. Andrew, how about fit?
I think this verb is stative and can't be used as a dynamic.
It can be used. How? Can you give me an example? I agree with you, by the way.
Actually, it doesn't make any sense if I am fitting. What does it mean?
I am fitting. Yeah, that doesn't that doesn't really make sense. But fit means to sometimes can mean go into something. All right. Okay. I think dynamically you might probably use it more often with a negative. Darn it all. It's not fitting in the hole. Okay. For example, I'm trying to put a screw into a hole. It's not fit. It is not fitting into the hole.
So you want to emphasize that it is not fitting.
Yeah, you're emphasizing the verb. That's exactly right, and that is another point, a very good point. Because in English, in reality, in English, there are times when we can use a continuous tense or a perfect tense. For example, you could use either. But Andrew has just made an excellent point. Why would I choose to use a continuous tense if I could use either? Because I want to emphasize the action. That's exactly right.
Maybe if I bought tight jeans and I'm trying to get into them, and I'm crying, I'm fitting.
Yeah, but you know, you probably would not say it in a positive way. I mean, yeah, in a positive way with a continuous tense, it would be very unusual.
I'm not fitting.
Yeah, it would be much more common. So there's all kinds of little issues when it comes to the stative versus dynamic. Yeah, it would be very unusual. It is fitting. I guess it could be. I guess you could say, you know, you're slowly screwing the screw in. It is It is fitting in the hole. Great. Sometimes to fit something, to place something in something else, sometimes it can take time to do such a thing. So it is possible.
Maybe this verb can be used in question. For example, I see you trying to screw, and I am asking you, is it fitting?
Exactly. Yes, certainly that is true. That would be an appropriate and realistic use. Okay. Right. It'd be very unusual to use it about people. I would say, do you fit in those jeans? Instead of, are you fitting in those jeans? So I think this qualifies as a mixed verb. Then, of course, we have the very unusual, a set phrase. It is fitting that he get the job, for example. Okay, Andrew, what does that mean? It is fitting that he get the job.
It is clear.
Well, it makes sense. It is appropriate. It is fitting is an English phrase which means it is appropriate. Okay, it's very appropriate. It is a fitting ending to the story. It fits. It's appropriate. It works. All right. This is a very common phrase.
So is it similar to make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. It is a fitting ending to the movie. It is an appropriate ending to the movie. It is an ending which makes sense. Yes. All of those phrases would mean pretty much the same thing. Okay, Max, how about, well, hate is too easy. Hate is too much like love. It is always stative. You really should not say I'm hating it. You should never use this in a continuous tense. Let's try a harder one to challenge you. Max, how about suppose?
Suppose. I think it's stative. I'm supposing it's too hard to pronounce. I've never said it.
Have you ever heard it? I'm supposing. I've never heard it either.
I'm supposed. I suppose. I think it's stative.
I think so.
As far as I know.
I was supposing. No, I suppose.
Supposed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This would be very. I can't think of how you could use this in a dynamic way. All right, very good. Can anybody think of anybody in the class think of is it possible to use suppose in a dynamic way? I don't really think so. It sounds very, very odd. All right, so very good. Max. How about Ahmed? How about contain?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. How about the word contain?
It can work as a static actually, like containing.
Static.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does work as a verb if we add ing.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Like I would say, this coffee is containing too much sugar.
I would say this coffee contains too much sugar. However, you are right. Because, okay, here's the thing. Contain can actually have sort of two meanings. The coffee contains too much sugar. It has too much sugar. Inside of it is one of the ingredients. All right, we know that. But You know, if I'm a football player, I might say, you can't stop me, Ahmed. You can only hope to contain me. Yeah, okay. You can only
Yes.
hope to kind of surround something. All right.
Uh-huh.
So, uh, okay. All right. If you think about it, um, uh, okay, you could say the alliance was containing the the rebels. All right, an army can contain another army, hold them back from going any further. So the army was containing them within the area.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, absolutely, I can say
Can I
that.
say the ship is containing a lot of boxes on the ship or something?
Okay, container ship. Yeah, well, there you
Yeah, it's
go.
like a container ship. Yeah, it's
Sure.
just containing a lot of boxes. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, you often might use it in continuous to talk about many things. That's
Uh-huh.
exactly. Yeah. When we're talking about one thing, we tend to just to not to use it as a stative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're absolutely correct. I was wondering if you would actually come up with that. When we're talking about many things, we often use it as a continuous. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. This can be a mixed verb.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Thanks.
okay. Daria, how about want? Daria.
I think
Daria.
that we never can use want in a dynamic way.
In a dynamic way. I am wanting you to explain why.
Well,
That sounds
that's
silly, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah.
well, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Uh, maybe I don't want to. You could say. Okay. Uh, all right. How about he? Can I say he was wanting her? Uh, all through high school, he was wanting her.
Why not? I think you can.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of seems okay to me too.
Sounds obscene.
Kind of seems like my real life, Andrew. Uh, yeah, there was this girl all through high school. I tell you, I was wanting her for years. Um, okay, I think under special circumstances, this can be a mixed verb. You know, when I say that I was wanting her for years, okay, it's all guys here. I have to tell you, we use the word want to mean especially to want some physical contact. Woohoo! You know what I mean? With somebody. And I think in that slightly different meaning, I think it can be used in a continuous way. But that's in a very kind kind of meaning. I think otherwise, I can't say I am wanting an ice cream, for example. That doesn't make sense. I think under very specific circumstances it can be used in a continuous way. For example, that's very specific meaning. He was okay, and he was filled with wanting. Okay, it can be used to show an emotion, basically as a gerund, as a noun, really. Uh, okay, the wanting, the article, wanting in his heart. Okay, I'm using that like to say the anger in his heart. Okay, I can use it as a noun, but that's different, of course. Uh, okay, let's try this next one here. Ahmed. Other Ahmed. Ahmed with a kitty.
All right.
Ahmed, number two.
Yes.
Aye, okay. How about mean? Can I? Well, this is tricky because, of course, we have meaning of
Yeah.
the meaning in a noun form, but okay. Can you use meaning in a continuous form? Is it possible? I mean, is it possible?
What are you meaning by saying this?
What are you meaning? Is that possible? Okay. What are you meaning? Okay. No, I don't agree with that example. This is a tough word because it has multiple slight differences in definition. Like definition or understanding, I couldn't use it that way. But intention, I mean to make you hurt. I am meaning, he was meaning to injure me. Okay, that was his intention. I think it can be used in a continuous way. Tricky words. I think this, okay. Do you understand, Ahmed, this can be used to show intention, what somebody intends to do.
Yeah, but I'm not quite understand.
Uh-huh. Okay. What's that? I'm sorry, you're not quite...
Understand.
I don't quite understand. Okay, I don't mean to confuse you. Haha. I am not meaning to confuse you. It's not my intention to confuse you. Okay, but the word also can mean like definition. Can mean definition. Okay. I can't say the word is also meaning definition. In that way, because obviously a definition is the state of that word. Okay. But an intention, an action I want to do, can be dynamic. I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, it's more clear now.
It's not clear. Okay.
No, more clear, not clear. More clear.
More clear. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank heavens. Okay. Great. All right. Thanks, Ahmed. That's a tough one. It's a really. Some of these are very difficult to consider. Can it be a real action or is it a state? Hello, Nader. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine too. Okay. How about this next word, consist? Can we use that as a continuous, or is it always stative?
I guess maybe we cannot use it as continuous. It consists of.
It consists of. How about, I don't know, it was consisting of? Can you say that? Or you have to say it consisted of?
Maybe it was consisting of. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. That's another tough one. I think.
Have you heard?
Have I heard? I think. Well, I think this can only be stative. I think your initial idea was correct. It was consisting of. It consisted of. I've heard it often, actually, to tell you the truth, but I think it's a mistake. I think
yeah,
it's an extremely common word to make a mistake with.
It's very similar to include, but we are using including all the time.
Yeah.
Including. But I don't see consisting of.
Yeah. It's very similar to contain, actually, up above.
Okay.
Okay. The bucket was containing several types of chemicals. Okay. But I don't think we can use consist, because consist means made up of. And if something's made up of something, then that's what it is. So that's a state. But contains, it holds. So if it, okay, the bucket was holding a lot of water. Okay, I can use contain, hold. I think consist is a little different. Hard to puzzle these out, right?
Yes, but because you are a native speaker, you hear so many versions of the word. Maybe some are wrong, maybe some are correct. But since you hear it, you cannot decide.
Yeah, that's and a lot of this is just if you're trying to puzzle it out and you're a non-native speaker, you have to kind of think about, well, there's multiple meanings to the verbs. That's the problem. So in the meaning that you're choosing to use, does it mean that this thing is that, like, I always have to, seriously, if I have a problem, I have to think, well, the sky is blue. Does it match? Does it match that statement? Is it purely a statement of the way it is? Or is there any kind of action, seen or unseen, involved? Let's try a little Quizlet, a tiny little quiz. A tiny little quiz, and there's 6 of you, which is very appropriate because I have 6 questions. Let's test ourselves and see if you can figure out what the answer must be. Okay, so Abimelech, I'm going to go back to you.
Yes.
Okay, some very common kind of statements. I'll give you a multiple choice, multiple guess. How would you fill in the blank here?
Okay. I never forget a face, but I've got no idea what her name is.
Okay. C, I never forget a face. Definitely stative. This is a state, right?
Yes.
He's okay. He never forgets a face, so obviously this is a state. So we definitely have to use. We cannot use a continuous verb tense in this way. Can I use forgetting as a continuous? Is it possible to use this verb in a continuous way?
No, I'm not forgetting.
I am not forgetting. Okay. How about this, actually? I am always forgetting my glasses.
I always forget my glasses.
I always forget my glasses. Okay. I always forget my glasses. Sure, but can I say I am always forgetting my glasses?
I don't think so.
I would disagree.
I would disagree as well. It's okay. Okay, this is confusing. I know. We have this construction specifically for use with a continuous tense, with always or never, actually, to show a habit. This is a very specific use. He's always talking too much. All right. She's always coming to work late. This is a very specific construction in English, and I know this is very tricky, Abimelech, but
Yes.
I'm with Andrew on this one. This is actually okay to use it in a continuous tense in this specific form. It's very difficult to use forget with a continuous tense other ways. It wouldn't make sense because it would always be a state. This is a very specific exception. All right. Sorry to throw that one at you. Okay. Andrew, you try number 2 here.
Let me think.
Okay, go ahead and read the sentences.
I don't want to have a fight about it. Just forget it. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. See again.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's very strange. Of course, it doesn't mattering is immediately. There's no way we could do that because, of course, we need the verb to be to form a continuous tense. And okay, so that's off the table. That absolutely makes no sense at all. But negative isn't mattering. It's very strange. Indeed, we can't use isn't matter because matter, to matter, is a verb. Okay. Is it possible to use matter, Andrew, with an ing form, continuous? Isn't mattering, it wasn't mattering.
I've never heard.
Mattering. I never have either. Yeah, this one, it's an odd verb, but I think this is a pure stative. It's not mixed. I've never heard mattering anytime, anywhere. I agree. Okay. Max, you try this next one.
Why are you crying at that photo, Mom? Are you here? Please. Okay. Yeah. Are you? I think I have clue. Are you remembering that perfect day at the beach?
Yeah, be careful about that word. Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotta be careful. Yeah, absolutely. There's something else weird here, Max. Do you see it? Or it's weird for me. I don't know. Maybe you can do this in British English. In the first sentence.
Because cry, it's action. Why do you cry at that photo?
No, this is okay. No. Why are you crying? It's an action she's doing right now. What weirds me out?
On that photo.
Why are you crying at that photo? Why are you crying?
In Russian, I'd say on that photo, but
no. Well, that's Russian. In English, I would say about.
About, yeah, okay.
Why are you crying about that photo? All right.
About that.
She's crying as a response, but it's slightly awkward. I have heard this before, and I do know that grammatically it is correct, but I don't know. I don't like it. Okay, as far as are you remembering, obviously you've seen the verb to be here, so that's, yeah, a huge clue. Are you remembering that perfect day at the beach? Okay. This is perfectly okay. All right, so obviously remember can be used in a continuous tense, but it can also, are you having that action now? Often in a question, we ran into this earlier, I forgot what the word was, where maybe consist or contain, one of those words. Okay, but all right, where you might be able to do it in a continuous tense in a question. Fit, was that it? Okay, is it fitting in the hole? Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's it. Right, much more common to hear in a question. Are you having that action right now? Is it fitting in the hole? Are you remembering something in that case? Yeah, it becomes dynamic. Is that action occurring right now? You're making it a question, so it would be much more common to hear it in a continuous way. Okay. Dario,
Yes.
Try this one.
They are having a party. I want to go, but I
Got
I haven't got to wear.
Very good. You're right. The first meaning can be dynamic. They're hosting a party. They're having a party. Okay. The second meaning means to own. You own something, that's a state. So you cannot use it in a continuous way. I want to go, but I have nothing to wear. All right. Very good. Good job. Ahmed. Ooh, what do you think of this one? Long
Yes, teacher.
piece of work.
Communicator. She's running incredibly well. She must be feel the pain, but she's so close to the finishing line. She can test effectively.
Okay. Close. She's running incredibly well. She must be, actually, it would be she must be feeling the pain. We have be here. That's your clue. She must be feeling the pain. All right. She's having that dynamic action of feeling pain. But she's so close to the finish line. Notice British say finishing line. I'm an American. I say finish line. She can taste the victory. Okay. All right. The taste of victory is a state. I don't know what flavor that is. Raspberry? Pistachio? I'm not sure what victory tastes like. I'm unfamiliar with that flavor, but okay. It's a flavor. It tastes like chocolate. I can't say it is tasting like chocolate. All right. So it is a state. Okay. Guys, actually, I see that I'm over time. I do have to go. Thank you very much. Hopefully you learned a little bit about how to figure out if a verb can be continuous or if it's purely stative. Thank you very much. See you guys again soon. All you guys have a great day.